Hey everybody, it's Alex Miller at Capneon here. I'd like to articulate three things to watch going forward regarding celebrated ChatGPT creator OpenAI. Before I get started, who cares? What got me interested in thinking to make this video is just looking at them as a potential investor, and I don't feel like in recent memory, I can think of an example of a company that so much looked very high risk and very high reward. It seems both plausible to me that maybe that is the giant mega corporation of 10 years from now, and you should be desperate to participate in that upside as an investor. And then also, there's a lot of weird red flags right now. I could see relative to that potential, just a lot of different kinds of implosion a few years down the road. OpenAI is the flagship AI company. So, by extension, here, there's a lot you can use to reason about, well, if OpenAI meets a positive or negative fate, that's going to tell you a lot about what is the fate in the next few years of AI? Is it really going to be true? There's this dream slash nightmare AIs and everything totally transform society. Or do we do another AI winter? People kind of just like, get out of here. I'm bored with it. So, as OpenAI goes, so may the rest of AI go as well for a while. Now, let's get into my three things. First, can OpenAI continue to make exciting breakthroughs, new models that are qualitatively, especially above and beyond what people have seen? They're raising lots of money right now. They're certainly not a profitable company. That they seem like they can make the big splash is a big part of the optics that lay the foundation for that fundraising that is going to be needed for at least a little while to keep them going. It's worth recapping the history that OpenAI started as a not for profit research lab. And a lot of the work that set the stage for where they are now occurred in those days. If you read deeply in the newspaper, they've been losing a lot of their high powered researchers, and they look more and more like a company built to commercialize a static existing technology. And if I'm right about that, and that has the obvious consequence for whether they can keep rolling out exciting new breakthroughs, and especially they need to be the company that does it. They can't be just a company that's B-list and does it occasionally. They need to be the company that does it. If they can't keep rolling out those breakthroughs, the optics start to change. They're not going to be able to sustain that fundraising, and they could be in big trouble. Number two, I think over the next 5 years or so, everybody's going to figure out what is a large language model really good for in a brass tacks practical business sense, or people won't figure it out. So while OpenAI has revenue now, a lot of their revenue is people that are essentially paying for extended test drives. And you all out there know what I'm talking about. People are doing generative AI to do generative AI, trying to figure out exciting things to do with it. It's not a mission critical thing in the core operations stack at a whole lot of businesses. I think it's fascinating because a lot of you out there will know how this one is going before OpenAI, in a sense. If everybody does have luck over the next 5 years finding real core dollars and cents brass tacks things to do with their business with large language models, OpenAI is going to be in really good shape to eventually turn into a grandpa corporation that actually turns a profit and returns profits to investors, and they will get to stick around long term. If everybody pokes at LLM for the next few years and decides that, this is fun to play with, but it just really isn't relevant to anything we do here, OpenAI is going to be in really, really big trouble. And there isn't going to be a very clear lane to eventually being just something other than a company that sets investor money on fire for all eternity. The final one is not really about OpenAI, but I think just general macroeconomics are going to do a lot to set the stage. A business model that implicitly involves not making a profit, not worrying too much about cost, raising lots and lots of money from investors at higher and higher valuations for a long time is really something unusual in history. It typifies the macroeconomic epoch between the 2008 housing crisis and pandemic for good reasons. And it's unclear if the future is going to be like that. So this intersects stories about the Fed a lot. If economic conditions are such that interest rates go way, way down, the Fed has lots of very stimulative policy and somehow avoids inflation, there's going to be a lot of money sloshing around, and the strategy OpenAI is taking now is going to be great, and it's probably going to work out for them. If we go back to what the rest of human history was like, and interest rates are a little higher, and there's less money sloshing around, we've already seen pretty concretely on the journey out of pandemic that this filters through pretty aggressively to what kind of money gets spent on futuristic technology. So if we don't go back to that eternal low interest rate world, we go back to your grandfather's capitalism where interest rates are higher, people want to see profits sooner. OpenAI is going to be stuck on a path that's going to be really painful. And this is where it intersects my second bullet point about, are the things that people are buying from OpenAI turning out to be useful or not? If all three of these things go OpenAI's way, they're a great bet. And then the more that any one or all of the three don't go their way, they could be in really big trouble. So once again, three things: R&D breakthroughs, just tangible customer success using LLM for something prosaic, and general macroeconomic conditions are three things to look at over the coming years that are going to tell you a lot about what's going to happen to OpenAI, and then, at least in a short-term sense, what's going to happen to AI more broadly.